afternoon, YouTube. Man, Laurie George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, it's the first of the month. Grab your check and come on. I know. So I just did some little running around this morning, and I came back home about a couple hours ago. Especially this close to the 4th. Oh my God! You don't. Yeah, you want to do everything as soon as you can because everybody and their brother be out. I mean, it'd be like be fighting some grandma for the last hamburger. So first is my first interview for July, and it's the officially it's the start of the summer. As you know, after time flies. Season's getting picked up, especially for certain divisions, especially as I do content with bodybuilders. But as a content maker, I want to expand a little more and reaching out to different women, different divisions. We have here's a lovely lady here, Mrs. Shonte Turner. She is a IFBB Bikini Pro. I really get those girls out here. So folks are going to talk to her.
They can be a little funny.
Yeah. I often heard between you and the wellness girls, but we're going to talk to her about her passion about bodybuilding, what got her started, and also what her plans for the rest of the year. So, ma'am, this is a question I often ask you ladies. What got you started in a sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
So what got me started with competing is actually a friend of mine, but what got me started in the lifestyle is myself. And I was active duty Air Force for 10 years, joined right out of high school at 18. So I kind of started lifting weight at 18. And I was just very disciplined and attracted to the lifestyle of meal prepping, counting calories. Like before all the cute apps existed, I had that little small planner that I carried around in my purse, and I would write down everything I ate, and I would total it up at the end of the day. And I was always anal about it. And at the end of my Air Force career, I was turning 30, and a friend of mine found Muscle Mania, and she was like, oh my God, have you heard of this bodybuilding thing? And at the time I had never heard of it. Now my husband was a huge fan and he knew all about it, which I found out odd. He never told me about it. But she's like, oh, you have to do this. Like if you do this, your whole life makes sense. Because I meal prepped, I went to the gym twice a day. Like I was living the life. So she lived in California. She did Muscle Mania. I lived in Texas. I did NPC. And we kind of was just each other's support system. And then after I did my first show in the Lackland Classic in 2007, I was done. Like I had found my people. And it came right at the time that I was getting out the Air Force. So it was like one chapter of my life was closing. And so I was turning 30 and I was beginning another chapter of my life. And so it came right on time. Another community that I could build camaraderie with. So it was perfect timing.
Well, I'm going to say to you, as I had two family members, my oldest niece and my youngest nephew were in the military, or both in the Army. And as a citizen, we appreciate the sacrifice you have made for our country. I'm not going to say thank you because thank you is not enough. Because you're not providing a service. You're going to places. You're doing things for this country that should be. We as people who live in this, we appreciate our service people. So what was that like that first time as a competitor? Your first time on stage for yourself?
So I didn't know what to expect. Let me start with this. I'm not a competitive person at all. I don't have a competitive nature. So I wasn't going in expecting anything from a placing standpoint. It really didn't matter. It was just the prep lifestyle that like now I have a purpose to be this crazy. And it's kind of okay to get a little bit more crazy with it, be a little bit more extreme with it, which was right up my alley. So going into it, I also used to model. So as far as the stave aspect of it, I was not scared at all. Like a crowd doesn't bother me. I wasn't worried about that. And I didn't know what doing good was. I didn't know what doing bad was. I didn't know what first or third place meant. So I just kind of went in excited to be around people who act like me, thought like me, didn't think I was weird. And like I said, I don't have a competitive nature. So I'm back there making friends for life. It was the perfect experience the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. With some experience, some ladies get nervous because you're on the stage, you're pretty much about naked.
Half naked.
Yeah, and you got people judging you and critiquing your physique. I mean, like with the bikini division, it's pretty much different from as I do content on the other divisions, where you have to have a certain look. One thing they'll want you to have, they'll let you, like when a lot of the girls who do like the poses like in figure and physique and even women's bodybuilding, you can't show details of your back. It's more,
right.
Your lower half. And also they want you to be too style rated. But bikini's been wild for a good bit and it has evolved,
Yeah.
And this is no offense. This is me being more of a hardcore fan of women's bodybuilding.
Right.
I often didn't really count it as really bodybuilding per se, but
You say you don't count it as bodybuilding?
It's a
you
fan
pull yourself together. No, you pull yourself together.
hey. I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna tell you this. I either gonna tell you a pretty lie or the ugly truth. I'm gonna tell you, like I'm like I said, doing this content, I'm starting to learn that it is a lot. Somewhat, it's a lot to do this sport, especially for you women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so and keep in mind, in 2007 when I started, bikini didn't exist. So I started out in figure, and I actually competed in figure for 10 years. I didn't switch over to bikini until my last show of the season of 2016, and then turned 2017, we hit the ground running with bikini. So I competed in figure for 10 years. So I know bodybuilding. I have not always been bikini.
All right then. Okay. I got a real sister girl here, folks. We got here my man KL the Wanderer. Shout out to him, KL. He says, "Good afternoon." Hey, yeah, I appreciate it, brother. Also, this is from my man KL. Says, Shonte Turner afterburner. Laugh it out. I'm teasing.
What's afterburner? What does that mean?
I think he's rhyming your name. He's like, Shonte Turner, afterburner. He's he
got skills. Okay.
Yeah. And how you train as a bikini competitor? That's the question.
Okay. So, well, you want me to answer or?
Go ahead, because like I said,
Okay. So, for me, the joke was on me all this time. What took me forever to switch over to bikini was I didn't have a bikini mindset and personality, that teeny bopper cute flirting. I don't have time for none of that. That's not really my personality. I like the posing for figure. I like what figure stood for, and it is a muscle contest, and that's what I was here for. In 2010, when bikini came on the scene, it was more like beach bodies, and that just wasn't what I was here trying to do. Now, had I known my genetic limitations and known that I could train to my max and still never outgrow bikini, I probably would have switched over a lot sooner. So for me, training like a bikini competitor is literally still training like a figure competitor. And if you think about what bikini looked like in 2010 versus now, is a whole different ball game. I would say pro level bikini now looks like what figure looked like in 2012, 2013, Olympian figures. That's what bikini is now. So we have to be just as lean, just as conditioned. They say no striations, but what have you seen placing? So just as much muscle, just as much balance in the physique, whether we're, judged on our back or not, that structure matters. That muscle tissue matters. It adds shape. So we have to train everything just like all the other divisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a process as any division. Like it's one thing, like you look at the women's bodybuilding division, it's more about size and definition. You look at physique, it's more about athletic and conditioning. Figure is more about you have that wider stance with shoulders and a V taper. And wellness, as you know, it's a new kid on the block. It's more about that off long shape. Like I think we talk about this, how it's very more vision for those women who are a little more bottom heavy. Yeah. Those girls who were maybe too big for bikini, but not big enough can bring that aside.
Structurally, it doesn't. They can't even compete in the other because they're too small up top. So it gave those genetic freaks, in a good way, a home, because there was a huge group of people that just, there was no place for them. They wasn't going to do well in figure, and they definitely wasn't going to do well in bikini. So I'm so glad they came along with wellness and gave those girls a home. Yeah,
we talk about how it's more like the girls who have those strong Afro genetics, like the thicker highs, the bigger hips. Yeah, it fits for them because it's it's a more of an oblong looking division compared to the others.
Yeah, and they have a bigger bone structure. Bikini, the girls that do well in bikini tend to have a more petite bone structure versus the wellness girls.
Mm-hmm. We have his comment from my man KL. He says, "You look like you were going to put your foot in your mouth." He's talking about me. I no problem. And also, he said this. It was a video game afterburner, so I'm rhyming with your name. So that's why I said. Okay. And also, he said this. How long you did figure? So that's like you did it for like 4 or 5 years before you switch over to
10 years.
10 years. All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, yeah, and it's a process, over the time, divisions. Like if I remember, like I've been following bodybuilding for a long time. The bikini girls now looked like the women's bodybuilding when it first kind of started out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and if you look at how even you go to like to the 80s, those women look like the figure girls. The figure
Yeah.
girls are, even if you go, one example is Linda Murray. You know, she has a show
Yeah.
coming up next week. Linda Murray was the architect really for women's physique because she
Hmm.
has that great look, the great muscle,
Hmm.
great taper, and that's what they want to. But now the sport has evolved over years, like anything. You
Yeah.
know, it just keeps growing and changing. Especially, bikini was very popular, like companies like Hawaiian Tropic and Hooters had it. And then
Hmm.
I think because they wanted a division that really get more attention and to probably get more people paid to really sponsor it more. But with
Yeah.
wellness now, it's getting a lot more eyes because it has that certain look to it.
It does. I'm fascinated by wellness. Those girls, I mean, wellness is a division that you cannot necessarily grow into. Either you are wellness from the start or you're not. You can taper, build a certain way, create that illusion with most other divisions. But wellness, either you're wellness from the start or you're not. It's a genetic thing.
Yeah, because I know a couple ladies who are one lady a while back. Her name is Daphne Holmes. She
Yeah.
switched over from physique to wellness,
Mhm.
and she went back to physique. A lady who was I consider a friend of mine, Jenna Beverly. She announced on my channel that she's going to make the move over, and and you see so many other ladies who will come
Over
from
to
figure
wellness or
to
over to
wellness. Yeah, wellness.
what
Yeah,
was she
Jada was
before?
she first started out in figure like yourself, and
Okay.
then she did physique, and then she
Okay.
was bodybuilding for a couple of years, and then she came back to physique, and now she decided to go to wellness.
Is she pro?
Yes, she's IFB Pro.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
If you want to, I'll send you a link later to her. You
Yeah,
can
I'm gonna have
check
to
her
look
out.
her up. That's a I'm curious what her physique look like that she can go to all those
But
different divisions.
yeah, James, we talk. Here we have here from a man, KLA says, George is not the only one with the bikini attitude. I seen it through a lot of people when I was at the New York Pro. Because my man, KLA went to New York Pro, which was like earlier, it was a couple months ago,
Mhm.
and he came in doing the part because he missed the rest of the part. Like he really likes that's women's bodybuilding and physique, and he only got to see bikini in the men's division. And saying like sometimes people get up, start walking out, and your division is a lot more shows compared to the other divisions.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
because and it's still at the Arnold. Like Arnold still has it. Even though he kicked out the other ones, but you know.
I think in those major shows like that, you'd be hard pressed to remove probably bikini and physique. I mean, it's just kind of taken on a mind of its own.
Yeah, it's just the process about it. So, folks, what we're going to do is while we're sitting here, we're going to jump into Shante's social media for a little bit. Check out some pictures. You want to follow her. If you want to follow her, her links are in the description of this live stream. You can check her out. She has product placement. So if you're interested in her company, you can check it out too. But guys, and there's no there's no offense to you, Shanti. I say it to everybody anytime I do this. Guys, no D pics.
Please don't.
Stop it.
Please.
She has a husband. She got
Yes. Pull
family.
yourself together.
Come
Yes.
on, guys. I know, she may not be a bodybuilder but she's still a lady. So,
Jesus.
okay, have some respect. I know you guys,
Yes.
So we're going to jump in your social media for a little bit here. And, we see here, as you know, you have your company is called Turn Fit. And,
Yes.
and when did you start that?
So I launched Turn Fit in December of 2018. And what brought it about is the Swap Trap fitness mat drying for sweat belts, like the Sweet sweat belts. So how it came about is sorry, I was I'm a fanatic for the sweat belts. I love it. I don't naturally sweat, so I love to use the sweat belts to get ready for my show, well, off season as well. And I'm also a germaphobe, and I hate the post workout mess. And so I couldn't find anything on the market to kind of deal with that. So I had ordered all these different fabrics, water repelling fabrics, all these different materials. And I had a seamstress make one just for myself. Now, that's not what ended up launching. This is 5 prototypes later. But it was just something I was using personally in my gym bag. And my husband saw it one day and he thought I ordered it from Amazon. And he was like, oh my God, that's genius. I wouldn't use it, but I guarantee you, if it bothers you, it bothers others. And so we decided to just go ahead and start the process of working on my patents and make it a family business.
Hmm. And your husband, he's one of your partners. How long y'all been together?
We've been together, we've been married 24 years and together 28 years.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah, we met in the Air Force when I was 18.
Uh-huh. And you have any, I know I saw you had some grandbabies and
Yes.
yeah, and how old are your kids and your grandbabies?
So I have 3 kids, 2 bonus kids. So we have one son together. He's 20, he'll be 27 in August, and he has a 2-year-old.
Uh-huh.
And then my oldest daughter, she has 2, and they are 11 and 15.
Oh, yeah. And here we got the pictures here, her posing. Like, who's working? Who's your coach? Who you working with now as your coach?
I'm working with Justin Harrell. I've been working with him since last season, but I've known of him. He's my husband's coach. He turned my husband pro. So I've known of him since probably 2015. And then he started working with my husband in 2017. And so I started working with him last year. But before that, I was with Damon with Pro Physiques, and I was with him for like 8 years.
Uh-huh. And I think that's one thing about the process of finding the right coach, because some people talk about how some people jump from coach to coach, coach to coach, but then sometimes it's about the melding of the personalities, and
It
also
literally is. It literally is. I used to coach. I had a competition team for like 5 years, and it's exhausting. And it is literally about finding that right fit, because everything ain't for everybody. And some people just require more. And depending on, your coaching, where your coaching business fits into your lifestyle. It wasn't my main source of income. So it wasn't something that I could spend, 4 hours a night talking to somebody about, don't eat the peanut butter type thing. I'm naturally motivated, and I tend to gravitate to people that are more naturally motivated. So I'm not one to do a whole lot of motivational speeches like that. So if you require that, I'm definitely not the coach for you.
yeah. And you last competed at the Charlotte Pro. It was another show in Charlotte, because Charlotte's like a hop, skip, and jump from when I stay in North Carolina. It's like
Yes.
a good ways. What was it? What was your placing at that show?
Probably last. I didn't even look. I didn't get first call out, so that's all I need to know.
Yeah, you'll get first call or second call, then you might well say you did last.
Correct. Like, who
And
cares?
yeah, it's a lot of work for you ladies, to
It is.
train, to get up. I know diet is one.
That's when I turn pro. What you have up there right now.
Uh-huh. And what was that feeling when they say now you are IFBB pro?
So of course it was a huge accomplishment. No one's gonna turn down that pro card. But I was never competing to turn pro, and that's why I easily sat in figure for 10 years, knowing I had no chance of turning pro. No chance of turning pro at figure. I wasn't willing to do what was going to be required of me. That's not a physique that I wanted to try to carry in the off season, because I like to eat. And so I didn't want to put on that much body fat on top of that much muscle. I think from a genetic standpoint, growing like that was going to be problematic. So I just like figure. So turning pro, of course, like I said, I had been competing for 10 years by the time I turned pro. So it was a huge accomplishment, but it meant more to those around me than me. When I turned pro, me and my husband turned pro on the same day at the same show. We went and got something to eat. And I didn't even tell him about turning pro. They were messaging me like, I didn't even have Instagram at that time. They were texting me like, we heard you turn pro. And I'm like, oh yeah. And when I got to the gym that Monday, didn't even mention it. People like, how'd you do? I'm like, oh, I turned pro. Like, I don't know. I just love the lifestyle and the grind so much. Getting the pro card is just the icing on the cake, I guess, but it definitely holds more value to other people than it does to me. I had just as much fun as an NPC. I felt just as fulfilled as an amateur. It wasn't a bucket list turning pro for me. I get it why it is for some, but again, that's going back to that whole, I don't have a competitive nature. So in my mind, I'm always a winner.
Yeah, here you go, you dancing with your son.
He taught me how to Dougie, and he didn't like the end result when I cracked under pressure.
I know, it's an old movie saying, a boy's best friend is his mother. And it's good that you like. I know a lot of ladies who competed for years, and they never got the pro card. Some that spent a lot of time before they finally get the pro card.
Yeah.
It's like I said, this thing about being the pro card, depending with some people, yes, as you say, it's their goal, it's their
Yeah.
dream. But like I said, yourself, it's not your goal, your dream. You have other goals and dreams.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's definitely not my, it wasn't my dream. It wasn't even my goal. But, and so like as a pro, people are really surprised to hear or kind of look at you confused when you say like going to the Olympia is not a goal of mine. It's not a dream. I don't want no parts of it. I don't even go as a spectator. I've been in this industry for a long time and I've been to the Olympia once and I don't ever have to go again. I just don't like big crowds like that. So I have no desire to compete under those conditions. Like nothing about that sounds good to me.
Yeah, you probably one of the few. Everybody will they will sell their soul against the Olympia
That's
because
they literally will.
yeah, I've had interviewed just two ladies just last month. They just got the qualifications. They were in physique. Tracy Guile, she just turned, she competed for almost 27 years before she finally got a pro card. That was in
Wow.
Australia. Sandra, she's from Switzerland. She took some years off after she turned pro. She did one show, then she took some time off and she turned pro in Spain. And and they are very excited. I know this is a great opportunity for them because you know what?
Yeah.
It's a once in a lifetime chance. So some people, you may not get
Yeah.
it again. We have here, this is Andrea Glass. Do you know her? Is it?
Yeah. So we have a vlog group called SWV Sisters with Vlogs, and she's part of the SWV Vlog Sisterhood. Hey
Well,
girl,
she
hey.
says hi, welcome, Miss Glass. I know she
She's
competes
a
in.
IFBB fitness pro.
Yeah, I know of her. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
know. Yeah, because like I said, this is this is a quote from my master's Wazal Gula Demon said he taught me this. He says, beware of surroundings all time, young Master Wayne. Never give a sure footing for a killing blow. I love to be aware of my surroundings. Here we got here from man KLA. He says, would move to another division besides bikini or figure?
No, I wouldn't. No, I don't
You
have the
know,
genetic structure for it.
yeah. That's one thing I think for genetics is a factor into this
It's a
sport.
huge factor.
Because some women like they have the certain structure for it. If you're the
Yeah.
leaner, smaller girl, bikini probably be good for you. If you're more have those really athletic build,
Mm-hmm.
physique or vitamin would be better for you. It's just how you process yourself as an athlete. Um, this is from a man. KL says, "I met with you on the last text." He's probably saying whatever. I said, "How long are you planning to compete?" So, how long you think you will see yourself in this division?
I I hate to say, but I think I'm going to be one of those people that um are probably not going to know when it's time to hang my heels officially. Like I'm planning to take some time off right now because I have to have a hysterectomy and all that stuff. So I need to let my body heal. And I had the hernia repair surgery last season and I didn't let it heal. I did a show in 8 weeks after that. I'm a disaster because I just love competing. So I'm planning to take off. I know that was probably gonna be one of the questions. I'm planning to take off and come back in 2026. So probably start prep at the end of 2025 and come back at the beginning of 2026 and really just let my body heal. But dare I say, I'm going to be that one competitor up there. People are like, won't somebody just tell her, let it go, sis.
It's like Mike Tyson. He's like, "I just want to fight. That's what I want to do.
I just love to compete.
I just want to. I just want to fight. I just want to compete. I just want to be bust them up." Here we have here Ariel. I think that's his name is
Aurelia.
Michael.
Yes,
Ariel
that's the
Michael.
other SWV.
She says, "Hey, hey," and also she says, "Andrea, SWV in the house. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for coming through."
I forgot
Also,
to post a link so that on my story so that people knew to come over here and watch this.
that's all right because they got it. People, they'll come here. Once they because I posted on my social media, and some people, most of the guys I have who are. Here's the fact of it, these guys who follow me are more muscle smokes. They are more into when I have certain women here, like if it's like bodybuilding physique, they'll be ready to jump up. But they're getting into
They're not
the
into
other division.
bikini like that.
Yeah, it's like I said, they're muscle smokes. Y'all ladies don't have enough muscle for their opinion, but y'all are very athletically built. Y'all have good conditioning.
We do what we can. Listen,
Yeah,
we do what we can.
Yeah. Here we get here from a man, KL the Wanderer. He says, do you look at your sport as the actual sport? I'm just asking, although it's not part of the mainstream. That's the thing about bodybuilding. It's not as popular. Like I just saw this post. I think it was Larry Wheel got slapped by this guy. He's a slap fight competitor. They call him the Flying Hawaiian. And I just remember bodybuilding used to be on television. You should catch it on, ESPN.
ESPN, yeah.
NBC should show it, but only time you can catch is like either certain sites will show it on online like YouTube because I do YouTube content, and also you have to go to pay-per-views. I
Yeah.
think bodybuilding is just not as popular like it used to be back in the day, like like the Arnold Schwarzenegger era and Lee Haney and those guys.
I think it is as popular. I think it's more popular now because of all the other divisions than back in the day. But I think from a mainstream publicity side, because of the drug use, they don't want to publicize it as much. But I think as far as popularity, it's definitely probably more popular now than it was back then. But it's just, it's too obvious. Most professional sports have drug use in them, but bodybuilding is just a little too obvious. And most, most people don't want to be affiliated with that.
Yeah, his thing about drug use is like steroids is like it's only the small factor of it, especially in the training.
Yeah.
Very small. It's very minute. It's easy to pick on it because wasn't that long ago we had a whole thing with Barry Bonds and all those baseball players. Marion Jones, she got busted for and
what's the little Lance Armstrong?
Lance Armstrong. There was a fighter, Ryan Garcia, a boxer. He just got suspended because he got busted for taking steroids. I do content on mixed martial arts and MMA. And often, people who have, MMA fighters who got busted for taking steroids and these get suspended. But because bodybuilding is just this different sport in the mind of everybody else, it's easy to pick on.
It's easy to pick on because it's probably the one sport that it would be, and I'm referring to bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding, physique, classic, like those divisions, not bikini and figure and all of that. But the big boys, you're not going to be successful in this sport without the drugs. It's an absolute. And so I think that's the part that mainstream struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's definitely an absolute that there is drug use. So
I've done an interview with a girl. She's a natural competitor, and I remember she just did the Pittsburgh Pro a while back. They told her she needed larger, but it's a lot harder to do it to get bigger if you're natural. I've interviewed a young lady who's an amateur bikini wellness vegan, and that's a different diet compared to other people. Because after your last show, what was that thing that was calling you, Shonte? That thing you wanted the most, that thing you desired? Yes.
For dessert, red velvet cheesecake. For food, I'm a pizza lover.
Ooh.
I'm here for all the bread. Yeah.
I know that when carb depleted, your mind's kind of shut down. You're like, sometimes we got barbecues coming up for the 4th of July. And some bodybuilders you can't hang around too much of those things. You be acting like Pookie in New Jack City. So
that's me. I can't be around it. I love to eat.
Yeah, I love to eat too, but I need to cut back on.
No, you don't.
Actually, this is a true story. This was I was taking my mom for the past 6 years, and I was almost 500 pounds. Mm-hmm. And then after she passed, I said, you know what? I don't have nobody to take care of by myself. So a couple weeks ago, to my doctor, and I'm down to 398. That's pretty good.
Oh, wow.
And especially, I'm not working out as much because I had 2 bad knees. I Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I tried to eat a little smarter, even though I just had a cheeseburger and some fries this afternoon.
Everybody gets a fun refeed. I don't like to call them cheat meals because that put a negative connotation to it. So a refeed. Everybody's entitled to one. That was just a refeed.
Also, this is from my man, Kelly. He says, well, a lot of women are picking up weights, so I do understand your point. Thank you, K-Hill. Scooby said like this. He says, health comes first. Yes, most definitely. And also he says, I do like velvet cake. I used to my mom used to make them. My mother used to make them, velvet cake. She used to make the jelly cake. She used to use grape jelly. And then, chocolate cake. We had Christmas or Thanksgiving. She make them homemade. That was just, that's sometimes I miss my mother. She was my woman. I miss her.
Aww.
Yeah.
How long ago did she pass?
It's just 4 years this past June.
Okay.
It's just, she's the reason why I started this, because I was taking care of her. And, if you know anybody who's taking care of somebody, a sick family member, there's a lot of stress to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need something as an outlet. And being a fan of bodybuilding and liking the sport, and I really, really want to give y'all ladies like yourself who don't get enough recognition, who don't get enough attention. I would love to have certain women on here because I'm a fan. One lady I'm a fan of, I'm gonna pull up her picture real quick. She's the woman that really saved bodybuilding, and that is Andrea Shaw.
I didn't realize that she's working with Damon, who was my coach for 8 years. I didn't realize she was with him now.
Oh, well, she was working with John Simmons, and because that was her coach.
Since when?
Since I don't know, so that's about forever. Because I know this is my man, Big Keith. They were in
Somebody
Detroit a
mentioned
while back, and they were working with John. And,
somebody mentioned she switched over to Damon last season, so this might be their first season together, this first Olympia, or maybe it was last. It's a recent change, and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, I did. Like I said, this must be new to me because I know Keith and
I
his
could be
wife.
lying.
Yeah,
I
Keith
could
and
be
his wife.
lying live.
I can't. I know Keith and his wife are working with John also, but I think they're going to work with an old coach he should work with. You know, when you're training, what's your least and favorite workout when you're training?
Legs. I hate training legs.
That's every
Despise
bodybuilder.
training legs.
That's
It's so
every
stupid.
bodybuilder.
I hate it. Because I have really bad knees too, and bulging discs, all the things, but I hate training legs.
Yeah, that's everybody feels it. I had maybe four pros say that they love legs because I said you're a freak. I mean,
Yeah.
you had to tell me that. We got here for your girl here saying hate legs, LOL, and also from Andrea says preach. Yeah,
Yeah, I despise it.
yeah. But what's your favorite? Is your training?
Shoulders.
Hmm. Yeah, you want that good roundness in your shoulders. That's what
Yes, I love training shoulders. A pretty shoulder is what creates a pretty arm. You can have no triceps, you can have no biceps. If you have pretty shoulders, you have a pretty arm.
I know what some of my guys says it's about the biceps. They like to see the pump. They like to see y'all ladies get that big pump. They like to see yeah. But with
Yeah,
y'all, you're in a different division where it's not as important about the size. It's about conditioning and also about how your body develops and as it goes through its process. Here we get here from your girl, Miss Michael. He says shoulders all day. Yeah. And also it's from MK Ellie says, do you do lunges without the weights? So you know.
yes, I do both.
I remember the last day I was interviewed. She's a IFB physique pro from Bulgaria. She said she loves doing the Bulgarian split
Oh,
squats.
those are from the devil.
Yeah,
Oh,
and she was doing them with another lady who was a wellness competitor. They were doing both right after she had a pro card. So, as you know, one thing about this sport is that for you ladies, it's a lot more expensive compared to the men.
mhm.
What division your husband competes in?
Men's physique.
Men's physique. So all you got to wear is a pair of board shorts, and that's it.
Yeah,
While and the other men's like men's open in 212 and class physique is the banana hammocks.
right.
But with you ladies, you have to have your hair done, your makeup done, jewelry, your heat, counting with figure wellness and bikini. You have to have the high heels. I
Mhm.
mean, I
Then
know.
there's all the beauty treatments that's off the stage. There's the Botox, there's the facials. Like it goes well beyond what the public sees.
Hmm.
The lashes,
Massages, yeah, the
nails,
massages, everything.
body
Because
work.
yeah,
Well,
not
all
just
divisions do body work though. They
yeah,
should.
and then counting in your coaches, the
Yeah,
food, everything that comes around this. Like I mean, there's a lot since people don't understand, and
yeah.
there's so much you put into it. If you could change the sport, what would you change out of it?
If I could change the sport, what would I change? I think I would. There's no way to do this, but I think I would request that they put a lot more restrictions to prevent the obvious politics of it. But it's they got to make money, so I get it.
Yeah.
But because everything else, you really it's so subjective, and it's not who crosses the finish line first. So trying to change anything other than those variables it's pointless.
Yeah, there's so much in sport which people who don't understand it from the outside. Like I'm an outsider,
Yeah,
but from conversations I have from women and people in sport, they really tell you there's a lot to it. You go in, you come in your best condition, you might lose to somebody who's not even in their best condition.
yeah.
And popularity contests is always a thing. Like one person I talk about is Natalia Cuejo. She's been in my live feed a couple of times. She's been a Miss Physique champion at the Olympia, and she still do shows where, hey, you already qualified, so why not step back and let somebody get an opportunity to get a chance?
So I'm on the side of I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't feel like because a person's qualified and they're taking qualifications from. I mean, it's fair game to me. If you can't beat them on a small stage, for those that are so passionate and want to get to the Olympia, If you can't beat them on the small stage, then what you gonna do on the big stage? So you just gotta compete smarter and just do a show that they're not doing. And then for a lot of these girls at that level, top 5 Olympians, this is part of their livelihood. So if they don't compete, they don't make money. They have sponsorship obligations. There's that small check that the top 5 will get at these shows, but it's part of their livelihood. And so I don't think it's fair to them to say, because y'all can't beat me, and it's not because it's for lack of working hard, or for lack of whether it's truly a better body or not. Sometimes the judges just favor a certain look. That's just, if that person shows up, that's just what they want, and that's just what it is. And half the time these people aren't people that the majority competing against them even want to look like. But if they're the best, they're the best. If they've been determined the best, then they're the best. So I don't think it's not the athlete's fault that it's bikini. Nobody really cares because we have 9,000 shows a year. But for fitness and for bodybuilding and even wellness has a lot of shows. But for physique, I get it. But it's not fair to those top athletes that this has become a part of their revenue to not compete. So what they need to do, that's probably what I would change, the Olympian qualification. So maybe they should, in the instances in scenarios like that where there's small shows, but if you do it for one division, you got to do it for all. If the first place person, give them their first place. If they were the best person in the show, they should get their first place, but they're already qualified. Maybe that qualification should go to the next person. Now, I think that would be fair.
I think talk about it, but then what they will be saying, it's a consolation prize. So why you should get the because what other divisions will talk about that.
That second place person would be hollering about no consolation prize. They'll have their ass at the Olympia proud.
Well, that'd be the mindset of not everybody, but how it is with people. We have here from your friend Ariel. She says, what do you think about bringing points back? And that's the thing is, they got away the point system back in after 2022 season.
So, I don't like the point system. I think that was a detriment to divisions like bikini, because it got to a point where girls that had qualified, they couldn't sit down out of fear of getting out competed, and then the person would run up the points, and then now they can't compete. So I don't think the point system, and then with the point system, that allows for it to be 52 people at the Olympia. So I think that they should. Now, I don't think it should fall down to the third place person or the fourth place person. Now you're talking about a consolation prize. But I think if Natalia does a show, and then you have, let's just say Shanique Grant came back and she got second, hell yeah, Shanique should be at the Olympia. That's not a consolation prize. Now, fifth place, we're doing too much. But I would think that would be as fair as it could get. But that point system, it ran a lot of girls in the ground. A lot of them did. I mean, they could have just sat down. No one made them do it. But trying to secure their spots, it was a detriment to their health. And I think the judges, Sandy for sure, saw that and was like, we can't keep doing these girls like that. So that wasn't going to, or I don't know, change how the point system works. But what they came up with last time, that wasn't.
Yeah, because you mentioned Sandy Williamson, that's one of the top judges in the sport. Mm-hmm. And also the wheelchair divisions have point systems. I talk about this, how I think women's bodybuilding might need it back because there's so few shows. Because you got 11 million men's open shows, you got nearly 9,000 bikini shows, and and even physique, this show starts shrinking a little bit because I saw the promoter at St. Louis dropped out women's physique, but you might replace it with your division or probably wellness, because those two are a lot more popular. We got here from a man, KL. He says, I'm getting a little Pam Grier vibes from her on looks and a bit. That's just me. So yeah.
Wait, what year? Brown Sugar or last year? What year?
Maybe Jackie Brown.
I'm not sure if I should be offended. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Or it's also for your girl, Andre. It says, if someone can get second chances, are they likely win something anyway? Not like they are passing it down to a last place.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I would say, I would think that would be a fair way to do it. But then, if you do it for one, you got to do it for all the divisions. But But these bikini Olympians, 52 girls, this is getting out of hand. To me, the Olympians should be, the top girls or whoever of any division of the sport. To me, anything more, definitely should max out at 20. But really, anything more than 15 or 20, I'm like, you're doing a lot. But it's some money. I mean, I get it. They got to make money, so I get it.
I think that last year they had the men's open that same week that same day after they did women's bodybuilding, in physique, all the other divisions, and then they did like late at night, and then they had the show later on that next day. I think that Saturday, and it's just here's the thing is I say this, and the person who runs Olympia, that's Jake. I got anytime I say his name, I got to say, yo Jake, I want that money, I want that gun. I'm sorry, every time I got to say his name. I don't know a lot of brothers named Jake. I feel like he's the man who saved women's bodybuilding. And I think he should, okay, let's make top 5 back for women's bodybuilding. And also point systems for them and some other divisions. Bikini, like I said again, has the more shows. So leave it as it is. I mean, if you have point systems for the wheelchair division, you could spread it out to like,
that,
yeah, you could do that because that's Jake. He talked to Jim Manning.
They could change these sanction fees that they're charging these promoters to have these divisions. I mean, I'm sure a promoter wouldn't mind having more bodybuilding divisions at their shows if it didn't cost them so much, because the return on investment is not really worth it to the promoter. But they could still give athletes that opportunity to get to the Olympia. But at the cost, I don't blame the promoters. So maybe if the sport, as an industry changed that for the promoters, then they would sprinkle in a few more shows for these competitors.
And also some promoters mostly get their money from sponsorship.
Yeah.
From the big companies, and usually, and this is, I'm always going to say, it's no offense, the division at the bottom bitch in the bodybuilding is always going to be the men. Class is getting popular, wellness is getting popular. It's a struggle for other competitors to get more. Like, are you sponsored athlete or
No, I haven't been I'm a bikini sponsor, but KH Customs, but I haven't. So when I first started, I had a supplement sponsorship, and it was a good relationship. Like, I mean, they did everything. They did my jewelry, they paid for my show entries, they paid for all my supplements within 12 weeks of my shows. Like, it was a good relationship. However, there was a mandatory amount of shows I had to do a year. And at one point I was working with Species and I had to do booth work, and it's not my vibe. I don't like being forced to do anything. And again, this is a hobby for me. I'm not trying to make this my life. So to be forced to have to do shows or to have to stand at booths and stuff, it's not for me. So I can afford it. So I prefer to let me afford it.
And that's a good thing. That helps out. That if you are somebody who's a sponsor, that helps out. And I think, like I said, you're not in the sport just as a living. It's something you enjoy. It's a hobby. You enjoy doing it. You enjoy competing. You don't want to put it all the work into it as much as necessary. Here we got from your girl, Mrs. Glass. Here he says, point systems also comes down to who is willing to spend the most money to keep competing. It's also a factor of it, because it's a money game. Also, this is from a man, KL. He says, Jackie Brown, I would say years before she gained a ton of weight. Come on, man. Pearl was still fine. She's still fine.
We back cool.
Okay, so I gotta edit to him sometimes. But as you were about to say,
we're talking about affording to compete. Yes, there's also those athletes that aren't sponsored and have to pay for every show they do. Not everybody can afford to, trying to maintain their Olympia qualification. So again, for bikini, it just didn't work, or maybe that particular system just didn't work. They would have to get real crafty with it. But I just know a lot of girls' health took a lot of hits, and some girls, it was irreversible damage. They wasn't really able to come back well after having to compete that much, having to do 7 to 10 shows almost before you can get to the Olympia. That's insane.
Because we just had a young lady, she's a figure competitor from Brazil. She passed away. It was from complications for, I think it was a blood clot. She had pneumonia. Wasn't that long ago, there was like a series of deaths. I mean, this sport it's a extreme sport. And when you get to it, you really risk your life. Like, Andrea, she's a fitness competitor. You saw at the last Olympia, Missy Trescott, she blew out her knee. I saw Whitney Jones, her arm pop up. I think I saw Tamara Vaughn. She had a little incident during the show. I think she fell or something like that. It's a lot for competitors. Even you ladies working in high heels. You're working. You never know. We might sprain an ankle. Or I
have a lot of respect for the fitness division. There is no way. Thinking about when I did figure for how we had to look and how we felt, and then have to go out there and flop around. Oh no, there's no way. There's no way.
Well, that's how figure started out. It spawned from fitness. From the women didn't want to do all jumping around chicken sweat.
Or they couldn't.
And
I mean, you have
yeah,
a
yeah,
5'9" girl. We're not gonna be out there with our legs. It would take forever to get a cartwheel across that stage.
yeah.
Nobody got time for that.
You gotta do that one hand push up, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's too
it's
much.
a lot to this, but it's one of the toughest divisions around.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
gotta give these ladies respect because I do contact interview a couple ladies in fitness. Some people that even Andrea knows, But this is about where you can place yourself as an athlete, where your future is going to be. Not everybody's going to do this forever. Like you said,
Yeah.
you do it for the fun of it. What's the goal for the future for yourself? If you decide, you know what, I'm gonna hang up high heels and just go and ride to the sunset.
If I had to put a goal to competing at this point, number one, it has to always be fun. I would never do it if I'm not having fun. And number two, I would have to say, when Turn Fit can stand on its own without me competing, it would be easier to walk away. But right now, I kind of have to be active competing in this world for Turn Fit to do well.
And that's good that you have this. Like, I know a friend of mine, her name is Eunice. She runs her own product company called Bad Rap. It's mostly working with figure, more physique and bodybuilding. And it's something I think really, that's one thing about the sport. You find your niche in it, and people who will follow you, and they like your product, because something, that's the thing is, if something that people like, they'll get behind it. Yeah, and what you're doing, you're doing some good work. You have some stuff that people can use or want or need, and you're really waiting for your business to grow. Because you know what, in the future, you never know. You could be a sponsor for a show, especially for a competitor. Have you thought about sponsoring competitors also?
I've done it sporadically. When Turn Fit was doing better, I would sponsor athletes, but again, it would be just kind of a whim. Like, I would have to be, either following them, saw that there was a need, and then I would reach out and just say like, hey, Turn Fit will sponsor this for you for this show. I've kind of done it like that. I have affiliates, but I haven't done like just a full sponsored athlete because the budget ain't there. But whenever I saw people, there was this one particular couple that was with a particular supplement line that during the George Floyd era, some stuff came out that they stood for, whatever, they was carrying on with themselves. And this couple left their sponsorship. And I knew for them that was a financial hit. And they were in prep, and it was getting ready for a show. So then I reached out and was like, hey, because I appreciate them taking that stand publicly, because most people wouldn't when they need the money, but they did. And so I reached out behind the scenes and was like, hey, Turn Fit will sponsor this for y'all.
That's pretty good. We know, it's been about 3 years since the murder of, at least, about 5 years.
It's been a minute, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while, and I think that guy who did it, he's in prison for now. I'm telling you, hey, brother, drop the soap. So I'm giving that. So, I hope he gets.
Don't wait for him to drop the soap. We don't need you to drop nothing. We still gonna take care of it.
I hope he gets that. I hope he gets the booty warrior. Says, booty is more important than water. A man's butt. So here we got here from a man, KLA. He says. Fitness division is incredible with the flips and all. I would say it could be television, well, a better chance. Yeah, but like I said, the thing is, companies, they want to, like, if you watch TV now, you can see poker on ESPN. And we just, as I talked earlier, the guy who got slapped, that's very popular. Slap fights. I mean, even they have it at the All Sports Classic.
Yeah. I think what Dwayne The Rock is doing and Kevin Hart trying to get involved, I think they're trying to make it more mainstream. Yeah, from a financial standpoint. They're trying to make it more mainstream. And I what was it, like a couple of years ago, The Rock was supposed to be having that mega Athleticon or some show in Atlanta, I believe, that was going to be very competitive as far as prize money with the Olympia. But I think again, when it comes to mainstream, it's the drug use that kind of is the sticking point. But I think celebrities trying to get involved is helping. But here's my thing: all the stuff that we put out here is on social media that is from the pits of hell itself, and people worry about little steroid use. I think mainstream just need to get over it.
Yeah, because people talk about that. Like I said again, they're always going to pick on bodybuilding for the whole stuff. But there's stuff a lot worse than that. And like I said again, steroids, it's just a small factor of it. It's a very small factor. But it's so easy. People say like, okay, bro, like I got a friend, his name is Big Keith, the one I just showed with the picture of Andrea. I told Keith, don't ever put your hands on my woman again. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. But
What
but
was happening?
yeah, Keith's my brother. I love him, but I told him, he said in that picture, say, what you doing? Put your hands on my girl. That's my girl. So but I like this. It's so easy to pick on something that's not what you call the usual in society,
Exactly.
where it's not considered normal. Like I do content on women's bodybuilder. And I had guys say, "Hey man, are you gay? You like these women?" I said, "No, I'm not gay. These are women. They're athletes." Yeah, I have had that. Actually, I remember posting stuff like, "Dude, you gay or something? What's wrong with you? Is that a man?" I said, "No, this is a woman." And some of these ladies I've become friendly with. Some of them
Yeah.
are like yourself, who have families, they have kids. Many of
Yeah.
them love doing this. I know a lady, she's almost 60. She's been competing since the 90s. And
Yeah.
you have to have a love for this. Like we talk about The Rock, even Shaq is a fan of bodybuilding. I didn't know
Yeah.
about the Kevin Hart thing, that kind of but I know
Yeah.
Shaq is a fan. He was at Olympia last year.
Yeah.
I remember Montel Williams used to always have bodybuilders on his show.
Oh, he did. Jenny
Yeah,
Jones used
Jimmy
to as
Jones,
well. Yeah.
Geraldo,
Yeah.
he was, it's, I think back in the 90s, I think it was a little bit more popular because you had shows like American Gladiators at that time,
Yeah.
but I think people need to understand that this is a sport like any other sport. But
Yeah.
because it's not the sport that, it's not an easy sport to do. Because like I said, you got to, a lot of sacrifices got to make, a time got to make. I remember talking to some ladies that they had lost friends because it's just something different. You can't go out and hang out with them at night because they go
Yeah.
get ready to go sleep and, get ready for their prep. They go to family events and they had to bring their own food. You can't eat,
Yeah.
like you go to a wedding, you have chicken, fish, or steak, but you can't eat that, because you're on a diet. It's a process. And I think that people are more open-minded and not as critical about the sport, I think it can be more popular if networks take an opportunity with it. Like I
But
talk
my
about
thing is, why don't they just, if they're so worried about the IFBB, then why are they not, televising these national organizations?
because it's the same. If you put it all in the same pot,
Yeah, exactly.
that's what
So
it
it's
is. It
all
doesn't matter
foolishness.
if it's amateurs. It's all the same pot.
Not
It's one
amateur.
thing
They could do pro. What's some people call OCB?
OCB, but they're put in the same pot. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what.
Exactly.
No matter what, if it's OCB, PCA, or WBFF, they're all going
Yeah.
to put it all in the same pot, and you see it as bodybuilding, no matter what.
Is Musclemania still around?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think so, but
yeah, probably not. I believe this
yeah.
is. I think it's beach something, beach muscle something. I don't know.
Oh.
He gave you from your girl says that's why we make sure we all link up so that we can do us around women who don't judge. Yeah, And also this is from my man KL. He says this. He says he wishes that was his girl. He's talking about Andrea. Yeah, yes, I wish he was my girl. I say. Also, he said this is from my man KL. He says, Jenny Jones had the bodybuilders that was once unattractive without muscles to attract with muscles. But it's just I think it's a particular look that everybody looking for.
Yeah.
And bikini is that I think it's more in the mindset of most people. It's an easier division to get into compared to the others.
Yeah. It's a smarter division.
Yeah, but you still have to train. You have to work out. It's not as easy as I put on a little sparkly bikini and some high heels and get out there.
I wouldn't say easy. I would say it because it requires less muscle maturity from all the other divisions. It would be the most popular starter division. But I would say from a training standpoint, we endure just as much, if not more, than the other divisions.
Well, but I know some ladies say, "Hey, nah, they don't train as hard. We have to get,
lies, and more lies."
Well, yeah. Well, one time I had a panel on here. We did bikini. We had a panel about something else, but yeah, I would love to have that. Maybe get some bikini competitors, wellness competitors, and physique competitors. We talk about that. Yeah. But it's hard to get, it's hard to get some of you ladies on here because I know you're busy, yada 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 yada. So, but one of these days I might try to do this. We used to have a discussion. We talk about things. I have a thing called Most Talk Monday. We talk about things going on in sport. Every Monday we just talk about how upcoming seasons and also stuff like we talk about how if mainstream sponsorship can help. Like imagine if you could think about if a company like Nike or Coca-Cola or when these big companies can throw some money in bodybuilding, you up the prize money. Instead of Arnold just shot out, he's going to raise up the men's opens division for $500,000 to the All-Stars Classic. But you cut out women's physique, women's bodybuilding, and figure. But you can get another $200,000 for a men's open. It's just
it's not fair.
Yeah.
I mean, the big boys they do make quite a sacrifice, and I think it's fair that they have the biggest payday. But the way they do bikini, the women's division, really all of them, bikini, figure, it's ridiculous. They've gotten better. What was it last year? Was it 50?
It's been 50. I think it was because because even the top 10 guys get money, and after fifth place, I think Andrea gets 50, and then I think all the others get 50. It's just, I think at least I would say at least 100,000. Because you got to think about first place 100,000. Yeah, because you think about that could really think about if you do like a Olympic qualification where you walk away from like $3,000 or $5,000. Think about it, $20,000 really make a difference. That could pay most.
That would make some girls stop competing too. If they was getting that kind of payday, they wouldn't have to do as many shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this is part of their income.
Yeah. Here we got it's from a man KL. He said like this says. Wait a minute, he's pulling up. He says, bikini, it's not so intense, if I could say. He's more of a bodybuilding fan. And also, there are FBB's mouth off on bikini. Yeah, I have at least talk about how they don't really consider y'all's division as a division. But, you still come in, you still work out, you still train, you still take the time off, you make the sacrifices. I know there's times where you rather just lay in bed with your hubby and say, baby, I don't want to go nowhere. I just want to stay here with you. But you are determined to compete. You're determined to get on that stage. And especially when dealing with your medical issues, you want the body to heal and to recover, and you want to just get back on that horse.
Bikini does just as much cardio, if not more, than I'm not gonna say more. They do just as much, but some people more. But I would say bikini cardio is more intense, and I would love for a physique or a bodybuilder to argue this with me, but from an intensity level, bikini cardio is way more intense than bodybuilders and physique for obvious reasons. But yeah, all we see them doing is just walking on their little treadmill on their incline, which no shade, they get the job done. But I'm just saying, from an intensity, they doing an hour, we're doing an hour, except we're having to do an hour, on the stairs at level 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, when they get to do theirs on like level 5. I'm just saying.
One thing is cardio burns out a lot of muscle, and that's what they just try to keep their hearts up. They don't want to burn too much muscle when they're doing cardio. We have here, this is from, I think is Walden. He says hello to you also. Also, this is from Andrea. It says, I think the women's divisions generally respect each other. I know not everyone wants to look like my division. Your division is a tough division, but like I said, I respect your division because, it's been around. It's the women's divisions make up, I would say, more than half of the IFBB. Because you only have the 4 divisions for the men. You have the men's open to 12, classic, and men's physique, and you have women's bodybuilding. You have fitness. You have figure, physique, wellness, and bikini. I think it's really,
they're all hard. I mean, there's no easy way into this industry, into this sport, into that stage. They're all hard. We all work our asses off.
Yeah, it's you got to work. Because to get to that next level, you got to work. You got to make those sacrifices. Take that time extra in the gym. Hit that, weights a little more. You have to, some days you be hankering for a pizza, but you got to eat your quinoa and your dry turkey. There's so much to this that people need to understand. Here we got here from a man, KL. He says, I commend you on competing, Mrs. Turner. Thank you, brother.
You.
And also from your girl here, he says, it's not about capabilities, it's about the body you want to live in. Yeah. So, folks, we're not going to hold up much too long. She's a busy lady. She took time out to sit here and talk with me. We appreciate her sisters with vlogs coming on here and supporting her.
SWB.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good that she's good that you have these good friendships,
Yeah.
and these bonds you make in this sport, over the
Yes.
time. I know some people, sometimes get really competitive, but she's in another division, you're in another division. Y'all both are friends. You find a common bond you have. Y'all both moms, and you got to respect what you do. Like, when you got to sport, what was your thoughts of your family when you started getting into it?
My husband loved it, like loves it. He loves the body that comes with it. He loves the me time. He saw how happy it made me. Like I said, it came about at a time where I was kind of in this weird space in life. I didn't know I was ending my 10-year career at the Air Force. That's all I knew. I joined at 18. I was turning 30. It was like all the things kind of happening at once. And so when I started my first prep, it was like finally something that wasn't about being a wife. It wasn't about being a mother. It wasn't about, being an employee. It was just time that it was okay to be selfish. If it took 3 hours in the gym, it was my time. No one in my family judged me for it. No one had issues with it. And so, my immediate family, my husband, my son, whatever, they were all for it because, mommy had something that was for her. And mommy going to show up in and out of the gym, but it was, and my brothers and my mom and all that stuff. I had just moved back to Houston. So it was like I was gone for 10 years. And so when I moved back, they were used to not seeing me anyway. So other than them thinking it was cool, they didn't understand it. They thought the poses was weird. They would laugh at it or whatever, but no one ever, said or made me feel like they didn't support my decisions to put in the time sacrifices that I had to do. They all supported it. So it's been nothing but a blessing to me. And I've met some of the most amazing women that I met, in 2007, 2009, when I first started, that no longer even compete. Me and Aaron Stern was talking about that, how we started, she started in like 2008, I believe, and how we're still in it. But anyway, but I've met some amazing women that they have long since stopped competing, but they're still permanent fixtures and friendships and relationships in my life. So I have no regrets.
That's good. That's good. We have here, this is a comment from a man, KLE. He says, cardio gives more endurance. So here's a toast. Also, he shouts out to your girl, says SWV. He's a clown. He's a clown. He's like me. He's a particular type of criminal. Oh, and Shonte, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful.
That's the other side. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other guy trying to keep him behave. He's just. But anyway, we do appreciate the time you have given
Thank
us.
you so much for having me.
Question is, what would you want out for yourself in the sport as a whole?
Everything that I ever could have wanted, I've already gotten. So outside of helping Turn Fit become a success, everything else I've gotten. I've far surpassed any kind of, fitness stage goals that I ever had for myself in the sport. So everything from this point on is really just icing on the cake for me. This sport owes me nothing other than helping me make Turn Fit a success.
Yeah. Yeah. To quote my man, Rocky Balboa, it's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. That's how winning is done. You just keep moving forward, do what you want to do and be successful. We like to say again, I'd like to appreciate you for your time. Anybody want to shout out to while we head out?
SWV. And just in the industry as a whole, I think it's a great platform. I think all of the promoters and the judges and JM and everybody, they're doing what they know to do best to make this sport successful and give athletes that platform. So I appreciate the support from my friends and from the industry itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Well, like I said, folks, we appreciate y'all coming through. I thank the lovely Miss Andre Glass, Miss Michaels, my man KL, who's here. Everybody who watched this video, comment, subscribe, follow us on social media. Like I said again, her links for this video is in the live stream. So if you want to go to her IG, you can also go to her Turn Fit, which is the link there. You can check out her products. You might
and my YouTube.
And her YouTube also. YouTube's also the link. So you want to check out YouTube, expand as a YouTube content maker, I'm telling you, try to keep up, because you know what? It took me nearly 5 years to get to 2,000. I didn't buy subscribers. I'm not even monetized. It's
No,
a lot of work.
it
I put a
is.
lot, I put a lot of work into it. I got, I have, you have to have a passion for this.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
and also I want to be an advocate for you ladies, give you all a voice. There's not enough people, which your division, you get a little more, a little more talk about, but
Yeah.
the other divisions, like I said again, women's bodybuilding, physique, even figure, they're getting that little side eye by
Yeah. Yeah.
IFBB. And that's why I like to give you ladies who have a voice, who want to share. I would love someday to have Andrea on here. Let me show you something real quick. This is a while back. A dear friend of mine, she was at the Olympia last year. And I always want, this is my pride and joy. She got this, and what she did for me, that's Eunice. Shout out to Eunice. This is why I enjoy these connections with you ladies. She had Andrea right here. One more page.
Aww.
I got to hang it up in a Wednesday, but I'm sorry. I feel like at the bottom of the I love it. I want to name it George. I mean, it's something I always want to show, because this is why what I've done and what I'm doing. This is my payback. I have ladies tell me appreciations. People give me shout out, and this is why I like to give y'all ladies a voice that no one else is giving you.
We
Because you
appreciate it.
deserve it. Well, like I said, to quote my man Batman, says you never have to, because this is why I do it. And also to you again, we appreciate the sacrifice you have made for our country as a citizen.
Thank
you deserve that more than anything.
Thank you.
Don't, like I said, you are welcome. So anyway, folks, thank you for your time. We appreciate you coming here. We have 4th of July coming up, so y'all who are prep, you better not go to no barbecues. Keep your ass home. Watch some TV.
Andrea, stay home.
Yeah, stay home. Stay home, Andre. You might want to go to Olympia this year. Yeah, you better stay home. So
yes, Vancouver Pro. She's gonna get that Olympia qualification.
Well, good luck to you. I just interviewed a lady who's doing the figure in that show in Vancouver Pro. Good luck to her there. I hope she does well. Shout out to all ladies who compete in all the divisions. And we wish you all the best. And we hope you recover well, and maybe see you come back in 2026.
Yes, thank you.
Like I said, you're welcome. So, anyway, folks, this is your man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, don't subscribe. We're out. Have a good afternoon, good evening, and a good night.
Bye.